This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
BLM wants to know, did you ever take part in Tuesday night wrestling at the Louisville Gardens? Weekly shows ran by Jerry Jarrett. It was a staple of wrestling in Kentucky when I was young.
No, sir, I never did work for the Memphis territory. So I would not have been at those shows, which I believe was part of his territory at the time.
It is fascinating to think about, even though you did come up in the territory system, you weren't a part of the territories very long as far as days on the calendar before you were with a major company.
Very fortunate. Very fortunate. I would say I had, Bill Watts, the 5 months I spent there, I learned how to work, which I knew absolutely nothing when I went there. I learned how to drive 3,000 miles a week without ending up in the middle of a swamp, sound asleep. I learned the business from the ground floor up and basically how to wrestle, learned how to be a businessman and being away from home for the first time, I learned how to live away from home and live out on my own, which is some people may laugh at, but when you're driving 3,000 miles a week and wrestling 7 days a week, there ain't a lot of time for picking out furniture and doing housework and cooking and all those things that you have to end up doing when you live by yourself. So, it was a learning experience. And then Atlanta, I went to work for Ole and got to be with Paul Ellering, spend some time with a quality person there. And then I went to Pensacola and my life really changed. And, man, you're talking about the greatest 14 months of my life. Access to the beach 4 days a week, 5 days a week, and short trips. It went from 3,000 miles with Bill Watts to probably 800 or 900 working for the Fullers and Continental, Bob Armstrong. Man, it was awesome. It was just so fun and easy, and just leave the beach and go straight to the town and put on your boots, tear the joint down, get in your car, go back home. Glorious. And then, of course, the Crockett years, the WWF stint, back to WCW, which I was fortunate to be in 12 years, which is a pretty damn good run. Then go to WWE, where I spent 19 years. So I was very, very fortunate. I didn't work all the territories or even most of them. I just was fortunate that wherever I went, I got to stay pretty good, fair amount of time, I would say.
Yeah, it worked out. Michael,
I did.
Keith West wants to know, can you elaborate more on your time in Smoky Mountain?
Guys should go back and pull it up on YouTube or wherever it's available. The angle that we shot of the man underneath the sheet.
Yep.
And you're talking about, I didn't know about it at first, but Jimmy didn't have to sell that to me very hard. I just could kind of figure out this was going to be entertaining. And I'd always been so serious about the business, and was in a position that I had to be, and I had to be business all the time and be in, kick-ass mode or getting my ass kicked mode 100% of the time. I could never lighten up and just have fun. And thanks to Jimmy for using me for several days. I was between stints with WCW, and I got to work for him, and man, we shot the angle, and it was so fun working with those guys and being partners. Man, picture this, me partners with the Rock and Roll Express. My God, you're talking about oil and water, but it worked. It absolutely worked. And I enjoyed myself working with the Midnight Express and those guys, and it was just a lot of fun. It was wrestling back at its roots. It was one of those things, it reminded me of when I used to go and watch wrestling live, how excited I got about it. I really enjoyed that. And it was probably the best 3 days, I spent in the business, as far as just having fun, not having to worry about anything, business-wise, just go out and have a good time. And it would take care of itself.
Matt Snyder wants to know any fond memories of any shows or anything that you did in Little Rock, Arkansas, either during a regional territory or from the WCW or WWF days.
Oh, Little Rock, Arkansas. I know that when I worked for Bill Watts, it was a Thursday town at that time, and that we would drive it because I was just underneath. That was the first match. Wednesday was television. If you were off TV, you wouldn't be in Shreveport, which Shreveport's on the way to Little Rock from where I lived in Baton Rouge. But if you were off TV, now you woke up on Thursday morning with a 400-mile drive. Not only were you going 400 miles one way, I think sometimes on the Friday following that, you would be somewhere like Monroe, Louisiana. And after that, you would go back up to maybe Oklahoma City and Tulsa for a double shot. The one thing I remember was it was 400 miles from Baton Rouge to there, and it was up, I think, Highway 167 or something, but a lot of it and most of it was 2-lane road. And if you've been to Louisiana and you've driven those old roads, they ain't been paved in a while. That was a long 400 miles on Thursday. That's the one thing that stands out. We very seldom ever spent the night there. It was usually just a end, work, move on to the next town.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.